Uh, very frustrating that we didn't close this out. Give them credit for making some shots down the stretch, and uh, for us to be in this position, I mean, shows the quality of team we have. Now it's finishing these games off to have a lead on a team like Seattle shooting 4 of 21 from three. Games before that, New York and Minnesota, when we haven't even hit any threes to be in a position to win these games. I just think it shows that we have the makings of a great team. Now we only have a little over half a season to get to where we need to get to. That includes me. So hopefully, we'll get better in these situations and be able to finish these off.
Well, Coach, I'll start with that. What was the play at the end? The last play.
Yeah, the play at the end was we were going to get it to Jordin on the move because Jordin was having such a great game, and uh, I give them credit. They disrupted the timing on the catch. She was supposed to catch it on the run, and then we were going to be attacking the basket after that. Uh, so that's where I need. As soon as it got disrupted, is where I should have stepped in and taken a timeout, and then we could have called something else at uh, on the side. So I got to, sometimes as a coach, you're worried like, oh, she got it in. Now she blows by him. I call timeout. She makes a layup, and then I shouldn't have called the timeout. But like it, uh, they made a good defensive play and disrupted the inbound, so we couldn't catch it on the run. At that point, we should have called timeout, and then we actually had a reset play that we worked on this morning that we felt good about. So, it would have given us two chances to run a play to get a good shot at the end. But that's going to be one of the things. These end of the game situations are kind of one for our team with new players working together, getting adjusted to that, and then for me, like you know, fouls to give, all those kind of things where we had an opportunity to do that. I have to make sure that we start working on that in practice and feel comfortable with how to do it, when to do it. Uh, so, there's a lot of work yet to be done, but I'm actually I feel good with where we're at. We can clean up some of these end game situations. I think we may have something here.
Coach, you mentioned Jordan. Just what was going right for her on those drives and just going downhill?
Well, yeah, she was seeing her space. She was getting by people, attacking space, and she was getting to the rim and had some really nice finishes today. Uh, you know, I didn't think our I didn't think our screening was that good today. That was something that I thought could have been better. So a lot of this, she was really kind of we were creating space for her, but she was beating the player in front of her, getting a little bit of an advantage, and then uh, getting to the free throw line, initiating contact, knocking down free throws, that type of thing.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about your lineup kind of changes today in game. It felt like you were, and maybe it's just from where we were in our vantage point, felt like you were kind of adjusting on the fly in terms of what you saw. But when you planned, I guess, obviously not to have Ryan, did that go the way that you wanted to in terms of, throwing people in and that, or did you have to adjust based on what Seattle was putting out?
Uh, well, we were definitely looking for a lineup. We ended up going, with Maya a lot in that second half, and she was doing well. She's rebounding the ball really well. She was giving us a lift defensively, and then she stole a couple baskets for us. So I thought she did a good job and helped us get the lead. We just needed to finish it off.
Coach, we saw Bree have another double double tonight, her eighth of the season, kind of going to what you spoke about pregame about her going to the All Star game. Just can you talk about just her being consistent presence game in, game out for you all?
Yeah, I think she was fantastic again. I mean, she does a great job sealing inside. She has a variety of moves. You know, thought she had some opportunities for some and ones. Uh, I just thought, she was really, really good. And you know, she helped us get that lead in the fourth quarter. And, uh, you know, I definitely think she's an all-star. I'd be stunned if she doesn't get named one.
Coach. Of course, not the best shooting night from Leash tonight, but what did you see from her from other aspects of the game? And I guess what did you see the Storm were doing that kind of slow her down?
Well, I mean, they had Gabby Williams on her and she wasn't leaving her. I mean, she was just trying to limit her touches and make it really difficult for her in general. Uh, and she's a great defender. So, you know, she had a tough matchup. But, you know, she really competed. I saw a ton of rebounds. I don't know how many, but, you know, what was that? Oh, she had a double double. Yeah, she was in there getting rebounds, competing. You know, she just kept working. That was, you know, I think everybody out there played well enough to win. It's all comes down to one last shot, and you know they were good enough to knock it down. Thank you guys.
Start with you, JC. Great game, you know, for you overall, but didn't end the way you wanted it to end. Take us through that last series, the last minute of the game.
Yeah, we didn't get a stop. I think for me, I need to take responsibility of a missed box out on Skylar. They were able to get a wide open three for Erica Wheeler, and then down the stretch on the last possession, um, she just made a really good play. Skylar's a pro, and you know pros are gonna make good plays, but I think for us, we just gotta lock in and focus, and all it takes is one possession. Um, and I think those last two possessions, we kind of lost a little bit of focus. And that's what I said about the last time I did media is being able to finish out these games and knowing that the little things matter and the little details matter. So again, we're going to take a look at the film, see what we can do better, see what we can do to improve and keep moving forward.
I don't want to be a negative Nancy. 25 points tonight. What worked for you tonight? What did you feel like you had going?
I was just getting into space, taking what the defense was giving me, just being able to make good reads and make good decisions.
JC, this question is for you. I asked BG this question as well, so I want to get your thoughts. Her word for describing Bree's season was spectacular. What is your word to describe Bree's season?
Phenomenal. Bree has been such a key piece for us day in and day out. She comes in, she does her work. And in the game, she's such an impactful player on the defensive end and the offensive end. You really have to pay attention to her. And she's doing all the little things, whether it's rebounding, setting good screens, knocking down threes. She's doing it all for us. So she comes in every single game and she gives it her all. And she's been playing phenomenal.
And Bree, this one's for you. You had your 8th double-double tonight. You and Neko were just kind of going back and forth down there. A lot of great footwork between the two of you. Is it always kind of like okay, I saw Neko do this, let me go down there and try to get mine back?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like that. I think it's just, doing whatever the team needs. Guarding NECA is no easy task, but I just want to make it just as hard for her on the other end. So I think just being able to establish position early and, my teammates are finding me and, just finishing the play, for the team.
Yeah, people will pinpoint, and this can be answered by either one of you guys. People will pinpoint the last minute as where people felt this game slipped away, but it felt like there were times tonight, especially in the first quarter and the third quarter, where you guys were just a little bit out of rhythm on offense. Is that accredited to the Seattle defense, maybe the absence of Ryan? What do you guys have to say about that?
No, I think it was us. I think we started off turning the ball over a lot. And I think that was one of the emphasis of this game, knowing that I believe they lead the league in steals. And so I think for us it was just a lack of focus. And us just being lackadaisical with the ball. And then again in the third quarter, they were able to run out and make conversions. They're also one of the top teams in conversions of fast breaks. So I think it was just that being again, locked in on the details and the game plan. And I think we lost focus in that first and third quarter. And that's when they were able to go on a run. But I think it was just us, trying to rush and do things that were out of the flow of our offense. And they were just able to turn us over. So I think it was just our mistakes.
Bree, we'll match you this team in every game. What do you feel like is the be able to turn the corner for this team? What do your team need to do in games like this to finish and turn the corners on these close games?
I mean, I think it's like JC said, I think it's locking into the little things and the details. Coach harps on it all the time. And I think, we're seeing it firsthand to be the great team that I know that we can be and to compete with the great teams in this league. We have to take care of those little details, whether that's a box out or a missed defense assignment or, just taking good shots. I think it's just, locking in every possession into those details. And that's what's going to take us over the top.
Thank you. Y'all have a good